morning, my name is Erica Lundy and I'm the garden programmer for the Faulkner County Library. Today we'll be making seed paper. With seed paper, you can do a couple different things. You can just have it be little sheets of paper, or you can put it together, punch holes in it, add some ribbon, and make your own little seed paper booklet. These are great for nature journaling or just for fun drawing pictures. Some of the tools that we're going to be using today for our seed paper are our shredded paper. This is what we got from our shredded paper machine. We're going to need some warm water. I've already added some of our shredded paper into our warm water, but we're going to need some extra warm water to add beyond that. We'll obviously need a bowl for that warm water and seed paper. We're going to need a blender to blend that paper into a fine pulp. We're going to need a wide bin to sift that seed paper, some cardboard, paper towels and sponges, a frame with screens. Now you can get this online, or you can just use an embroidery hoop with a fine mesh screen, some small seeds, and optional if you want to make the journal, you can use ribbon and a hole punch. All right, so for seed paper, what we're gonna need to do is take our shredded paper, obviously shred it into fine bits. If you don't have a paper shredder, you can also just take some scissors and go ham with it. Newspaper works as well, and it is also really easy to soak. It will absorb a lot of water and become weak and brittle and easily fall apart, and that's what we want. So I've already got some of these shredded papers soaking with some warm water. Warm water is best because that will allow the paper to absorb more of it. Then we'll take our blender. I want to take some of our seed paper that's been shredded. Now here's where it gets tricky. So you see me putting some in here. I don't want to add too much because you don't want it to get too thick. Now I'm adding more fresh water. You would rather err on the side of having too much water than not enough, because it can and will burn out your blender if you don't use enough water. All right, you can see now that the paper has turned into a pulp-like texture, and we're gonna get our bowl, add this into a separate bowl. See the differences there? Whereas this has a lot of water in it, this is not so much. This is actually a very soft texture, very good for sensory. And we'll grab more of that, and we just do this in stages, small batches. Make sure you pick out any plastic pieces. You don't want anything metal in here either, because that will ruin your blender. And then again, pop it back into the blender. When I do this, I don't like to blend it all the way, mainly because I like to get that unfinished appearance, the large pieces, the large texture. I think it looks really cool. Some people really like the fine texture in the finished piece, as opposed to the chunkier, larger texture. This will be our last one. Adding some water into this. And again, remember, please add enough water. That is very, very important. You will burn out your blender if you don't add enough water, because this paper absorbs the water and it will become too thick and it will burn it out. So now I have my pulp, and it's kind of a mushy, soft, and wet consistency. I'm going to add a little bit more into here and add some of that water as well. You really cannot have enough water because that will just help sift. All right, so now that we have our pulp in our wide bin, we're going to add a little bit more water to it. And again, we are still using our warm water. And you're going to blend it a little bit so that everything is even. We will take our frame with our 2 frames with our screen. Now this set I got from online. You just take it with the screen side up, put the frame on top, and then sift it under, give it a good shake, make sure everything is even, and then pull it up straight and let it drain. I like to wipe off the sides just because I think it makes everything a little bit easier. Once it's drained, we bring it over to our cardboard. Once we have it onto our cardboard, we'll add our small seed packets. I've chosen for this project catnip seeds because they're a lot smaller. They also grow really well and really fast, and we just sprinkle them on top. Now, why I want to use smaller seeds for this project is because bigger seeds will rip and tear. It'll also be harder to write on. So we're going to do 2 packets of this. If you're interested in getting any seeds, feel free to come down to the Faulkner County Library on Tyler Street. We have a seed library here that's right next to the DVD room. It is on a wooden cart. You can check out up to 10 packs of seeds 3 times a year. Each of those packs will have about 10 seeds to them. Now that we've got these seeds sprinkled on here, we're going to set this extra mesh on top and very gently absorb that water. Now, what we're essentially doing is we've torn up and we've shredded those fibers of the paper. We've soaked them in water so they're even more spread apart, added more water to it so that it can filter through our fine mesh. And now that we've got them realigned on our paper, we're going to take out that water and the fibers will realign themselves so that it is just paper. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking this sponge and I'm just going around and patting it. You want to absorb as much water as you can. You can see that I'm pulling a lot of water from it. It holds a lot more water than you first think. Even my cardboard underneath this is getting wet. This is a great activity to do outside, but if you do it inside, one tactic would be to do it in an area where you can allow all of your paper scraps to dry before you vacuum it. Leave it for about 12 hours, and the next day vacuum it up. It will be a lot easier to vacuum when everything's dry. It is a little bit tedious. So once you think you're done, what you'll do is you'll pull that last screen off and then pull this tray off, and we'll take this frame, we'll flip it upside down. And one more time, we'll take the sponge and we'll pat it dry upside down. This final pat should help release the frame and the screen from the pulp. Once we have that done, we can gently lift this off, and we've got our seed paper. The seeds are now on the bottom side. We'll let this dry for 24 hours, maybe 36 hours if we need. And what we'll do is after it's dried, you'll bend the cardboard and the paper will come off stiffly and the cardboard will bend underneath it and you can just break it off like a solid piece. If it still bends when you are trying to pull it off, give it a few more hours. Maybe bring it into a room that's a little bit less humid and have a fan on it to dry that a little bit faster. Once you have your finished piece, you can keep it like this. You can add hole punches and throw some ribbon in there. Once you have some multiple pieces, you can make it into a journal. We've got our finished piece here with some green paper. We've added some ribbon to it, and we have multiple pages for our very own seed journal. If you blend it really well and you don't add any chunky pieces, you get a nice, fine, smooth coloration and texture. If you add some chunky pieces to it, you get some splashes of different color. We've obviously used red paper and green paper for these separate seed papers. And you can even add no seeds to it. But we're going to be planting ours here in the spring. So our catnip that we just made will be part of the Faulkner County Library patio project. Thank you again for joining me.